I'd like to talk about the best games we've played in 2021 so far. Now, these games weren't necessarily released this year, but they're games that we've played this year and we enjoyed the hell of, and we just want to share our favourite memories of them. So I'm going to kick it off with new Pokemon Snap. No secret, I've waited 20-odd years for a Pokemon Snap revival. I was in school and I used to obsess about playing it. I still remember vividly that the resident, in school, you've got that one kid who thinks he's smarter than everyone and people just hate him because he's just so obnoxious and arrogant. We had one of those kids, and he was bragging one day to a friend of mine that he had already found all 151 Pokemon in Pokemon Snap. And
limit the amount of Pokemon?
Yeah, there was only 63.
Snap? Yeah, I was going to say.
There was only 63 Pokemon. So when I called him out on it, his reply, quick as this, was, "Oh, yes, I thought I'd trick Philip when I said..." And he said it in that tone. It sounds like I'm putting on... "I thought I'd trick Philip. Trick Philip." What a... Matthew Craig, if you're listening, you're a dickhead.
Dox him. Dox him. Where's he live?
Dox him. Oh, man.
Anyway, Pokemon Snap came out and it was everything I wanted it to be. They built on the previous engine while keeping it the same. Amazing thing. I just cannot express my happiness. And of course, earlier we talked about the DLC, free DLC that's come out with 20 more new Pokemon. The fact that you've got day and night cycles with different Pokemon in it and different puzzles. It's basically a puzzle game. But you take photos, you get points for really, really cool photos. Some of the things you can do, like you can make fish jump up in the air and then seagulls come down and scoop them up and fly off with them to eat them. Oh, man, just a fantastic game. The fact that you can put your shots up on to be voted for on an online scoreboard.
That's cool.
It's whole thing's just really, really cool, especially for someone like me who's played Pokemon since he was a very small person. This was a wonderful sequel, and yeah.
It's pretty high praise coming from... I mean, now I've seen the house anyway. Like, it's pretty high praise coming from someone with as much Pokemon stuff as you have.
Yeah.
So I'm very inclined to grab this.
You really should. Like, it's easily worth your money. Yeah, It's
sure.
a fantastic game.
That's paid in a few days.
Floppy put his picks in here, even though he wasn't going to be at the show, but I think he just wanted his legacy to live on in case the butt replacement surgery doesn't go well.
Yeah, we wish him all the best. We hope it goes well. If not, he will be missed.
Not really. But Immortals Phoenix Rising is the game.
I think it's Phoenix.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, he played this game. He enjoyed it. I didn't. I played it for a couple of hours and then just went, Breath of the Wild's just better though. I'd go back and play Breath of the Wild.
I agree. Like, I agree with the statement that Breath of the Wild is better. I think it was more polished as like this style of game, because I don't think Breath of the Wild sort of fits the mold of open world adventure game or Zelda game. It's like it's its own thing, very much so.
It's reinvented.
This was fantastic.
Actually, you know what? Breath of the Wild is basically Zelda 1 remade in 3D.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
This was great. I played maybe an hour of it, and then I watched the entire game played from start to finish over the course of a couple of weeks, if not months, because Coda fell in love with it. Breath of the Wild's probably her favorite video game, next to Final Fantasy VIII.
Right.
And just, yeah, it was a great time. And the DLC was fantastic as well. It like brought in different mythologies and different sort of lore, and it was a really good time.
I did enjoy some of the humor. We can see on now, like, they had the title screen running in the opening monologue, and it was game writer Zeus, game developer Zeus, bumbling narrator Prometheus.
Fake news expert Prometheus.
There's some very meta stuff in there, and it's very funny.
Yeah. But yeah, again, it just didn't appeal to me. Braden, what did you think of Phoenix Rising?
I heard a lot about it. I saw a little bit of like people playing it and stuff, but I never personally checked it out. I was always thinking it was going to be one of those games that I would one day pick up for like a sale and then would like play in the background while I watch other things, which is what I tend to do with these types of games. But I just don't think I'm ever going to get around to it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there is a lot to do in this one, so...
There is. I think Floppy finished it. I might go back to it one day. I got it on the PS5. Yeah, we'll see. Braden, what's a game that you really enjoyed playing this year?
So a game I recently jumped onto just because there is a second one coming out, and it's a style of game that I like. It's not a new game at all. It's Jurassic World Evolution. I love me some Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo.
And some dinosaurs.
And some dinosaurs. I really like what they did with this. Adding all the little missions and stuff. There's like a campaign throughout it, which is something you don't really get from Coaster and Zoo at all.
I want a Pokemon Snap but with dinosaurs. That'd be rad.
Honestly, it'd be very cool. Well, this basically gives you a little bit of that. Obviously, there's no dinosaur in that photo, however. The game isn't incredibly polished, but that makes me look forward to 2 coming out, hopefully later this year. So, fingers crossed. I'm looking forward to what they add to it, new updates and everything. I enjoy a nice park sim game.
Anto!
I touched upon this one a little earlier when I introduced myself, but one of the games I've had the most fun with this year was the Legendary Edition of Mass Effect. Again, it's not a brag, because at the end of the day, there are people out there who've got way more time and patience than I do to platinum stuff. Mass Effect, it's as far as sci-fi, space opera style stuff goes, it's honestly some of the best storytelling and gameplay out there. Third-person shooters generally get a bit of a bad rap for being sort of cut and paste, but Mass Effect is very much its own thing. It's third-person combat with space magic. It's fantastic.
Who's the blue lady? The blue lady in
There are lots of blue ladies.
Oh, okay. Well, that was the one I got to have sexy time with when I was playing the game.
Pretty sure that's Liara.
Is it?
That's the love interest that Coda and I went with in our most recent playthrough.
Right.
Just because it makes sense canonically wise. Like, there's a lot more time spent on developing her relationship, in my opinion.
Male shep or female shep?
We always play Femshep.
Yeah.
Femshep!
Femshep.
Femshep is...
Femshep for life.
Make Femshep canon.
Yeah, I mean, she is. But Jennifer Hale, voice acting.
So much better.
So good.
So much better.
Mark Meir does a good job, but Jennifer Hale just absolutely kills every single performance she's ever done.
Yep.
She's so good.
So Femshep is canon?
Yes.
So who's male shep? What's
He is also canon.
So they have 2 alternate timelines?
No, it's the same thing. It's just, it depends on the
Gender
player.
fluidity.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's really good. When was Mass Effect originally released?
2007.
That's very good.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan
It wasn't
of that.
until the 3rd game that they started, including Femshep in the marketing, super heavily.
Right.
But they've always said, it doesn't matter. It's a choice that the player makes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
and
cool.
the best thing about Mass Effect, in my opinion, is the illusion of choice. And it is very much an illusion, but every decision you make, to a degree, affects every subsequent installment in the series. So my playthrough would be totally different to Ben's playthrough. Ben's playthrough would be totally different to Braden's, to some degree. Some decisions you don't really have much of a choice in. The ending of the series gets a bit of
I was
slack.
about to say, what do you think of the horrible quotation marks 3rd ending?
Hated it when I was... Oh, when did it come out? 2013. Hated it when I was 23. Mm-hmm. As someone who's grown up and now has less of a, I hate this, it doesn't do exactly what I want mentality, I absolutely love the ending I got most recently when Coda and I played through, because it just works.
And without
Without spoiling anything, it just works for me specifically.
But with Mass Effect 4 coming out, they've pretty much acknowledged that there is an official canon ending, right?
Not yet.
3?
Not yet. There are 4 choices, technically, for the endings.
Right.
Because they added some, didn't they?
There were 3, and then
3 and
there's
they
a
added
4th
1.
option they added, which, honestly, it's a cop-out.
Is it the Happily Ever After?
No, it's worse.
Oh, okay. Worse than Happily Ever After?
No, it's way worse than any other option. It's effectively the nobody's happy ever again after this ending.
That's my kind of ending. All right.
BioWare haven't sort of made any kind of statement on whether or not any of the endings are canon. Mm-hmm. Personally, I want the ending I chose to be canon, because I don't want Shepard to not be a thing. It's all I'm saying, just in case I'm spoiling things for people.
Well, now that it is available in this package now, there's probably a lot of people who hadn't played them originally who can check it out now. So
Yes, go do it. It's a great time. Minimum sort of playthrough will take you maybe 60 to 80 hours for all 3 if you just blitz through it. Yeah.
Seth Green's in it.
Seth Green is in it. He plays Joker, the pilot, in all 3 games.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit weird when the ending revealed that it was actually part of the Firefly universe. I saw the Firefly fly past. Broadcasting. What's going on? I just took the sky away from him. I played Bowser's Fury, or Bowser's Fury, as I like to call it, because I'm a wacky funster.
He does get cat ears and stuff.
He does, and he turns into Super Catten, where you turn into a big old Super Saiyan cat, Mario, and you smash the big old Bowser. Like, I really like the look of Bowser, Gigantamax Bowser. I think he looks amazing.
Bowser.
He looks great. It plays very much like a test run of what they could possibly do for the next Mario game. Just like a completely open world, and you just go from area to area unlocking. I can see them trying a Mario game like this for whatever Odyssey 2 is, or whatever the next game is that they bring along. But yeah, I played this with my daughter. She didn't have a real fun time because she was Bowser Jr. and just
whacking your paintbrush at people.
Yeah, whatever, boring. I was having all the fun, but that's what you get when it's your game.
Well, you're player one, right?
Yeah, I'm always player one.
Yeah,
I had two younger sisters, and guess what? They were always that loser Luigi. Anyway, Floppy put in his vote for Resident Evil Village. Yeah, cool game. Didn't play it.
I enjoyed Village. It was a good time. It's very short. I feel like it's designed for multiple playthroughs, like 100%.
Is it designed to launch the next major storyline and character arc?
I think so. Without revealing anything about the ending, it does a very, very good job of tying up every sort of plot point from 1 to 7. Mm-hmm. It does a real good job of tying things together. I'm very keen to see what they do with 9. Just to address Dylan very quickly.
Okay, yes. Dylan in the chat.
The ending I chose was the red one, because my shepherd would not have chosen any of the other endings.
I chose the blue one, and Braden chose yellow. He got the surfing Pikachu.
I was wondering where that was going. Good work.
Braden!
I checked out something which I mentioned a little bit earlier without even mentioning it. The Outer Wilds. Not the Outer Worlds, which...
They came out at the same time.
They were very...
Guys, come on.
It was so close, and I bet someone was like, piss. Damn it, really? The one time we do this.
Just piss.
Piss. I had always heard good things about it from the people I follow, so I was like, you know what, I'll go check it out. And man, this game is really, really fascinating.
Time loop game?
Yeah, so time loop, you get about 20-something minutes. But the things that you discover, like the information you gather about, basically you're trying to figure out why this time loop's happening and what's going on. Really fun little kooky characters. It's like a really interesting world. Like the plot that you do unravel gets really fascinating until you figure out what happened and you're like, oh, that's not what I was really expecting it to be. The visual style of it's really nice. The music is fantastic in it. Yeah, I highly recommend people go check it out. Avoid spoilers, because when you do figure it out by yourself, like, you feel like a genius. But also, there are, like, really tense, like, space horror element stuff, where, like, not, like, horror per se.
Space horror? You mean, like,
but, like,
Attack of the Clones?
Yes, definitely. There's a new graphic novel coming out. Not a joke.
Because that's the most horrible Star Wars film I've seen.
Yeah, we're going to put it in the horror section. No, we're not ordering it, unless you want it. But there's like a section...
I don't like horror.
There's a section...
It's coarse.
Damn it.
It gets everywhere.
Of course, it's rough and it
There's
gets
a section that's specifically, like, tense and, like... I personally was just, like, shitting myself the entire time, because it's just... You feel like if you breathe, something will go wrong, and you'll have to do it all again and experience it again. But yeah, it's really well-made game.
I have a question for you, Braden.
Yes.
Horror games.
No.
No.
Braden doesn't do horror.
Hear me out.
Yes.
So, like, the horror you're describing is less of a, boo, we're going to jump out of a cupboard, here's a scary monster, you can shoot in the face with a shotgun kind of horror. And it's more of that sort of tense, you don't know what's going on, this could be psychologically or, like, spiritually horrifying kind of thing, right?
Yeah. The kind of, like, you know the whole thing that got Alien really spooky was the, like, no one can hear you scream in space or whatever. Like, it's that
true.
feeling of, like, you're alone in your pod and you're having to adventure into this thing, and if you get something wrong, like, you know that your character is going to have this, like, horrific death. Like, obviously they don't show it or anything in this, but like, it's such a tense moment. Like, not to spoil too much, but like, you legitimately have to have your ship at like the slowest it can go so it doesn't make too much noise, and you're making minor adjustments to try and get to where you need to go without these big things waking up, and it's in this really gross looking world. I highly recommend it. It's really good.
Yeah, it sounds great. Like, that sounds really cool to me.
If you like sci-fi stuff, get on it. And there's new stuff.
Now I'm a bit bummed I didn't put down what you've put down, Anto.
Oh, yeah.
So what's the game that you enjoyed playing?
Well, we've already talked about it on the show because it's coming to Games Pass pretty soon. Hades.
Yeah.
I spent pretty much from the day it was available digitally on the Switch to about the third week after launch playing this game.
Wow.
Like every waking moment that I had away from work or doing anything else, I was playing this game, and on the Switch, it's portable, do it anywhere kind of thing.
I was exactly the same, by the way.
Yeah.
I held off, and then Dan just kept raving about it. And then I remember before one show, Dan just went, "Yeah, I'm actually addicted to it. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, I just keep thinking about when I can do my next run and when can I do my next run." Mm-hmm. And I went, "All right, I need to try this out then." And I did, and I wasn't as bad as Dan, but definitely got to that for at least a week or two. Just, I'm going to get up a little bit earlier so I can
Very
play.
much that exact feeling. Like, I am not a huge fan of like procedural generation or is it
roguelikes.
roguelike
Yeah,
or
roguelites.
roguelite? I don't know. But
Not a fan at all.
this sort of style of gameplay doesn't gel with me very often. This was the first game that has this sort of just what's the best term for it? Can't even think of it at the moment. Brain's fried.
The procedurally generated, when you die, you lose your
Gameplay
progress.
loop.
Yeah.
That's the term. Gameplay loop. This sort of stuff doesn't tick my boxes. Just everything about this game, from the art to the music to the voice direction to just the overall feel of the gameplay, it's just brilliant. And if you haven't played it, it's the perfect kind of game to get into for this sort of genre because it's way more forgiving than other stuff. The way it works, like every death that you have, you can power up and do better next time kind of thing until that caps out to a point where you're basically, character you play as a god, but you feel like a god by the time you get to the end, and it's just so rewarding.
Again, it's very much like that Fortnite type thing where you can jump in and do a run in 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, you can play for 10 minutes or get sucked in for 12 hours.
Yeah, but like you finish a run and you go, all right, I'll try again next time.
Yeah.
And you spend some time just in the main hub area and then give it another crack and then, hang out. And, you do get bad runs as well. You don't get the god power that you wanted in order to get you through or power up your weapons. So you do a run just to collect the money and the cash in order to, and then you go in for a more serious run when you do get the buff that you were after. Super fun game. Again, it's coming to Games Pass very, very soon. Everyone should definitely at least play it once.
I'm going to play it on Games Pass again.
How cool was that final fight, by the way, with his father?
It was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Loved it.
I've got it digitally on Switch. I own the physical copy.
I need to get the physical copy.
And I'm going to play it on Games Pass again because, like Braden said earlier, you get to play it again for the first time. Like, it's fantastic. It's just so cool. I'm going to shut up because I could talk about it for ages.
Right. So another game that I played during the year that I went back to, Pokemon Gold. On the old, I want to say on my old Game Boy, but I didn't play it on the Game Boy. I got the 3DS. No, not Heart Gold. Gold.
Oh, the download. The digital one.
The digital Gold. So I had Silver growing up, so I decided to crack open Gold and give it a go. Yeah. I was always a red type guy, Gen 1er. I do like the designs of the Pokemon a lot more in Gen 1. But yeah, man, Gold is such the better game. It really is. And playing it, you just remember, spoiler alert for a game that's 25 years old, that at the end of it, when you finish the Elite Four and they go, oh, you want to go back to Kanto? And you go back to Kanto and you go through all the gyms there and get all 16 badges and they go, oh, got to Mount Silver. So you go through there and freaking Red's on top of the mountain. That was like the very first time any one of these games had ever called back to the first game like this.
Or there was ever any kind of sense of continuity.
Yeah. Amazing. Oh, not really because Metal Gear. But yeah, like it was Amazing game. It's still an amazing game. Introduced shinies for the first time. I remember being freaked out whenever they said about Red Gyarados. It just didn't make sense to me. I couldn't understand. And because of my writer brain, I always try to make sense of story. I always try to make sense of continuity. It wasn't until my teenage years that I discovered you can have alternate timelines that have nothing to do with anything else. Like, I got obsessed with the Street Fighter movies and then tried to work out how the Street Fighter V animated TV series tied into the Street Fighter animated movie, even though it came after, but was set before. But they did things that they didn't remember in the Street Fighter, and it used to just destroy my brain. But yeah, great game. Everyone should play it. It's like $11 on the digital store. Go and get it before they close that store down.
Or you could shell out $400 for a physical copy on eBay.
It's not $400.
Heart
Cart's
gold
only,
is.
no, heart gold is, but normal gold you can probably get for about $60. Yeah, just for a cart. But then you have to do this on your Game Boy.
Underneath a lamp, like a high-powered thing.
Or when your parents are driving somewhere waiting for the next street light to come along.
I'm so glad someone else has that memory.
Of course.
I tried to play Four Swords, the multiplayer for the Link to the Past Game Boy Advance release, in the back of a car in the middle of the night, traveling from like Dorset to Scotland.
OG Game Boy with the green on green screen.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Anyway, Braden, you know exactly what we're talking about.
I remember my Game Boy Advance.
Best system ever made.
That was the only one I had. No, my next pick, Ratchet & Clank. Obviously, duh. I love it. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is amazing. Everyone who has access to it should play it.
Yep.
And that's all I have to say, because I've raved about this game many, many times. And I've Dylan in the chat as well, who's just platinumed it as well. Everyone I know who rave, love it.
Love it.
Ratchet & Clank.
I can't speak for it personally, but again, I'm sorry if I'm mentioning my girlfriend too much. I bought this for Coda, like,
talk about games,
launch
man.
day, and she just blitzed through it
It's an
in
awful
maybe
thing,
a week or two. It was fantastic. It looks gorgeous. From what I have played of it, it's very, very good. I want to start with the previous ones before I jump into this one.
I do recommend playing through the previous ones as well. I love the entire
Speaking of spending $40 to $60 on a game, they're not cheap anymore.
No, they're not.
And Edo, last pick. What game have you played this year that you've very much enjoyed?
This one's actually something I played very recently, and it's probably... what year were you born in, Braden?
97?
It's older than Braden.
Everything's older than Braden.
It's not a high bar to
it's
meet.
not. Yeah.
So I've been playing on stream, which I'll be continuing at some point in the future.
Oh, whereabouts? Where were you doing?
Just over at twitch.tv/HackTheDino.
On twitch.tv/HackTheDino.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe if you're watching now on twitch.tv/HackTheDino, you should press the follow button.
Yeah.
It's free, by the way. You can do that and not spend any money. But if you press follow and ring the bell or turn on notifications, you'll know when you're going live with a stream for Sonic 3.
And, I'll be posting about it on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of our socials. Like, it'll be everywhere. So as soon as I'm ready to go again, we'll
So basically, they should just head to hackthedino.com on a daily basis. Because I think you can also stream this from hackthedino.com.
Yeah, I can.
You can.
Anyway,
what were we talking about?
Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. So for those who aren't aware, Sonic 3 and Sonic Knuckles independently were...
Two separate games?
Two separate games. Sonic 3 was released about a year before Sonic and Knuckles. They split the game into two because cartridges and development was very expensive back in the 90s, like memory and all that stuff. Quite pricey when you're trying to put together a video game.
I hated this level, by the way. The oranges and the honestly, it's ugly.
Yeah, no, it's not the best palette. Like, I think it's because orange contrasts nice with blue, but I'm guessing. I'm not an artist.
It's much better. Look at the purples.
I locked the two games on together, so you can combine Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and all of the Knuckles levels and play it all as one giant adventure.
32X.
What?
I don't know. Sega sucks, man.
No, Sega's great. You just gotta pick and choose what you play. Anyway, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, in my opinion,
pick and choose what you play. All right, I pick Nintendo's games, and I choose to ignore Sega.
That's fine. You can do that. You're well within your right to do that, Ben.
I've been doing it for a long time.
You just don't want to say how old you are, do you?
What?
Anywho, in my opinion, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is easily the best Sega Mega Drive game ever made. It's probably in my top 10 2D games ever. It's just a good time. It's fun if you like Sonic.
This isn't 2D.
Yeah,
Liar.
Stop it. Stop picking.
You haven't watched this show very much, have you?
I have. You're bullying me because it's my first time.
I bully everyone. Don't worry about it. If I wasn't bullying you, it'd be a problem.
I love you too, man. But yeah, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Fantastic game. It's available on a fair few sort of modern platforms now. Mobile, you can get it on, well, not Sonic 3 and Knuckles. You can get most of the Sonic games on Switch now. They're like $7 to $11 each. But if you don't want to spend any money and you want to be lazy and you want to help us out, you can watch me play it.